Okay, and I am going to record this, and it's the first time I've tried to record this in the fashion that I'm doing it. So, if you know of anybody that doesn't make this meeting, if it works out, if the recording works out great, then I'm going to put it up on my YouTube channel and talk a little bit more about that later. So here we go. Let the journey begin. So, this is your first year in apprenticeship. I would imagine that many of you are in this program because you are perhaps working for a company that is remote from a school location, or you may be in a travel base, so you are on the road, even that sort of thing. And this program is designed to provide this education, despite your remote situation. Very quickly about me, as I'd said, I'll be your instructor. I'm instructing all 4 years of the e-learning apprenticeship, and my name is Mike Barley, and I'm a master electrician, master trainer. I'm a licensed educator in the state of Indiana. I've been in the trade for 40 years now, and I've been teaching for the last, I guess I'm in my 16th year of teaching. I'm also a manufacturer of training equipment for the electrical trades and an author. Some of the books that you're getting, actually, I am the author of. So now, straight down to the meat and taters of things. The learning platform. What we use in order to deliver this learning is called the capacitor or capacitor. And it is the learning platform that's provided by Mike Holt Enterprises, who is the one of the largest providers of electrical education in the country. And so they have a platform or a online site that is called Capacitor that provides our platform for us to receive work from you and provide a lot of the learning. You know, you're going to get a set of books if you haven't already. You will, but you're also going to have this platform to use as a way to turn in work and see videos, PowerPoint presentations, things like that. Um, you should have received a email from them actually to set up an account. So you're responsible for completing all the assignments. These assignments will be released per semester. Um, and that means, by August 25th, I will open up all of the assignments that are expected to be done between now and Christmas. And then you'll have Christmas break, a couple of weeks off, and then I will open them up probably New Year's Day, of 2026 for the second semester, and then you have until I believe it's the end of April is when our actual school year ends. And I had in each one of your book packs there will be a letter that has this information with some specific dates. It'll be in your book pack. Each one of you will get a backpack that will have several books in it. And I want to say in advance, the one book that you will not have will be your National Electrical Code book because the NFPA or National Fire Protection Association, for whatever reason, has delayed in getting us the books. As soon as those come in, then we'll push them out. Curriculum wise, I don't think you even get into the code book until at best late this semester, something like that. So it's of no issue as far as you've been able to progress. So, and as it says here in the screen, don't get behind. Now, the learning platform we'll use the curriculum platform known as Capacitor, and this will be the primary home base for learning. And this is what the home page of the site looks like. And as you look around here, you'll see the code graphic of the day, the code question of the day. You'll see there at the bottom where it says enter class. That's where you would enter into the class and be able to access grades. And I'm going to kind of show you around the site a little bit and show you how some of this works. So you receive an email from Mike Holt Enterprises, and I think the email says either Mike Holt Enterprises or ABC and Mike Holt Enterprises asking you to set up an account. So you need to do that. If you haven't received that, obviously check your spam. If for some reason you don't have anything, then again, my email is right here on the screen. Make sure you write that down. I'll give it again at the end of the presentation, and you can email me and say, hey, I haven't got that email yet. We can get that worked out. Now, where it says enter class, that's where you would click and be able to open up where your assignments are. So let's take a look at that. This is what the page will look like for you. Now, notice it says here at the top 2023 for. I haven't changed my PowerPoint presentation. It's 2526. But each one of those are assignments. And you'll click on it where it says enter class, and basically you're going in and either viewing things or just answering questions. I think these first 5 modules are all electrical safety, essentially construction site safety, and that will all be coming from a book that you'll get in your book pack called OSHA Construction Safety Handbook. And you go through those modules, use this book as your basic guide to actually find the answers to those questions, and that will take care of that section. Then I believe the curriculum gets into more electrical theory, and you'll be using, I believe the next book you'll be using is Understanding Electrical Theory. And I'm pretty sure it's labeled on there that, that's the book you'll be using. If you ever have a question about that, again, you can email me, and I'll say this probably a few times in the video. You can email me. I am an email maniac, so, I check my email numerous times a day. So if you were to send me an email, allow me 24 hours to answer, but I will typically answer fairly quickly. But that's where you click to get into the work. So, for example, you click into this, and this would be what the work looks like, and then there would be maybe some reading. And as you have to get to a certain point, you click to the next page, and there'll be questions to answer. That's your, we'll call it homework. That's your work. You will also, and I don't have it shown in this slide, but there'll be an icon somewhere on the screen on some of the slides that will have click on a video, and there'll be a video teaching Mike Holt and the team that he has, maybe talking about Ohm's Law or box fill or whatever the particular subject might be. So there'll be kind of a mixed bag of learning opportunities of how you work your way through the material. And then over here to the left, review material. That is where, when you click on that, that's going to get you to this page. Now this page, if you look down, it says 2020, and then if you could look down farther, this is a slide, but if you can look down farther, it'd say 2023 version of this, and a version of the Understanding the NEC Volume 1 and that sort of thing. Those books, you want to be in the 2023. Both versions will be on there, 2020 or 23. You want to use the 2023. But as you click on there, you'll be able to, like the one that's right in the middle of the screen there, 2020 bonding and grounding. If it was 23, you click on that and it'll open up, and there will be the book itself in electronic form. All of Mike Holt's books are in electronic form on there. There'll also be presentations where you can look at the PowerPoint slides. And then you'll also have videos that you can go in and watch. Now, let me say this while I'm thinking about it. There will be times when we're going to gather like this, and I'll tell you about the schedule of when we're going to do that periodically. But there will be teaching times. If you spoke to anyone who's been in this program before, we had teaching times, but they were somewhat limited. We have a schedule that we're going to stay on this year as far as when we're actually getting together, and I will be teaching on particular subjects. It's like every couple of weeks, I believe, is how I set it up. So there will be additional teaching time and opportunity to ask questions, besides just the online platform. Then grades. How do I get grades? One of the tab on the page also will say grades. If you click on that, for instance, this is, and if you notice at the top, this guy's name's Tony Stark. Tony here, where it says completed, you would have the work that you've completed, the score that you got, how much time you spent on it. As you complete assignments, you can see that. I can see that. And so if I get in there and I see, well, it looks like you got a 45% on it, and you should have had 100, but you spent 2 minutes on it. Well, obviously, you could have put a little more time into it. So, you need to spend appropriate time on the assignments. But if you want to see your grade, that's how you get in and see it. Now, keep this in mind. As you're completing assignments, it might be that, you're doing okay, but maybe you've got 3 assignments that aren't complete. Or that will affect your grade. So as you're going through it, your grade is based on the assignments that you've completed. So if we got to the end of the year and you didn't complete 10 assignments, then I'm going to go in there and block those out, and then that would all of a sudden collapse. That would drop your grade substantially if you had a bunch of assignments that weren't complete. So you need to complete all of the assignments that are on there. Now, up at the top of the home page, there's a little envelope, and you can actually email me through that. So you can click on that envelope and come up, send me a message. It automatically sends me an email. So, if you can go that route or use my email address, doesn't matter. The message is going to get to me. And again, at least give me 24 hours to respond. But of Quite frankly, typically I'm going to try to get to it sooner than that unless I'm in the middle of something. Now, skills competencies. These books, depending on what level you're in, you'll receive one of these books. You're going to receive this book, which is the branch circuit wiring and switch control book. Each level in the apprenticeship has one of these books associated with it regarding hands-on learning. Well, obviously, we're in a distance learning program, so hands-on learning is quite difficult. These books were integrated into the program so we can bring it into this environment, teach on it, which I will, and throughout the year we'll have demonstrations. We won't always be in this situation here. There'll be times when we'll be filming in my lab, and I'll be doing some demonstrations. There'll also be some upcoming videos that will end up being on my YouTube channel with Electric Lab. And so this is a strategy, if you will, for bringing hands-on learning into this environment. The goal is that you not only learn electrical theory and you learn the other nuances of the code and things like that, but you got to know how to do it. That's what your employer, I'm sure, hired you to do. They want you to know how to do it, wire buildings. So we want to bring that in as much as possible that we can in this environment. So skills competencies proof of completion will no longer be required. I made this PowerPoint presentation up for students coming in this year also. And here's the thing. We used to require that you fill out the skills competencies book and send it in. We're no longer doing that. And what we're doing now is basically simply get the assignments done in there. And that's for you. It's not for us. I'll explain a little bit more on that in a second. Lab-based learning books will still be a part of the book set, and skill and learning will take place regarding these subjects. So we want you to do the skills competencies that are in this book. The book is called Electrical Apprenticeship Skills Competencies, Hands-on Skills Required for an Electrical Apprentice. I put this book together, and basically what it does is it is essentially giving you a grocery list, if you will, of the competencies, the things that you need to know how to do physically, the core ones anyway, in order to be a well-rounded electrical apprentice or an electrician. And it could be wiring a three-way switch, bending a 90-degree piece of half-inch conduit, or wiring a seal-in circuit for a control circuit. And these are all detailed in this book. And they are broken into level 1, level 2, 3, and 4. You would only be expected to knock out the ones that are in level 1 this year. However, if you happen to come across one of the other assignments in there as you're working, because everybody's work is different, if you happen to knock out one of the ones that's in level 2, good for you. In the book, it actually has the way the pages are laid out. For example, this one is simply using a digital multimeter. At the bottom, you have the apprentice's name to be written in here. The journeyman or project manager or whoever may have witnessed you doing it, have them sign that and date it. You do not have to turn this back in to me, but that's a record when you get done with your apprenticeship training of, yes, I went through and did all of these things. These are the core principles or core experiences that you would do as an electrical apprentice. With no access to a lab facility, you will need to request this learning through your company supervisor or project manager. Obviously, if you were coming to one of the, at least in Kentucky, one of the 4 facilities that we have in Kentucky, then you would be, like in the picture here that you can see on your screen, you would be in a lab where there's training equipment there available, and you'd be using that training equipment. Well, that's not the pathway that you have. So we are trying to ensure or encourage that you and your employer provide that type of training, so we make sure that you get everything you're supposed to get out of being in this program. The Skills Competencies book is provided to give a guideline of the skills experiences required to be considered a completer. It is an encouragement to pursue the opportunity to have those experiences and will need to be provided by your employer. Final grade. So failure to complete all assignments on capacitor will result in failing the course. You have to complete all of the assignments, and that is by the completion date of April 16th next year. In apprenticeship, assignments equals hours. Very quickly, an apprenticeship is actually based on 2 things. On-the-job training hours, which I'm sure you guys are probably reporting to your employer or perhaps to our database. And then, of course, classroom time. Well, this would be considered the classroom time, what you're doing online and the integrated Teams meetings that we'll be doing throughout it. So that's what gets that end of it done. All work must be done in order to advance to the next level or graduate. So you do not have the rest of whatever to do that. We have very specific guidelines of how long you have to do it, and you need to get it done within that amount of time. This program depends on you putting forth the effort to ensure completion of all course and skills competencies. This program, to be honest with you, this was actually probably a result of COVID. Back in 2020, not everybody had an online program. Well, that got very popular once COVID hit, and now it has been obviously a wide variety of contractors utilize this program. We have people in these classes that are probably in Texas, Florida, the East Coast, Michigan, all over the place. So, become very popular. So, but I have to say that the difference between this and a face-to-face class session is that, and I teach face-to-face class sessions every week. The students come in there and I'm spoon feeding it to them every week. That's not what this is. The burden is on you to make sure that you're getting those assignments done. If you have questions, you have code questions or questions about any of assignments, you can message me and I'll be happy to ask. That's what I'm here to do. There's also I've had some students that actually, I think there's a tab in there somewhere in the MyCode platform where you can actually send a message and one of their representatives will answer a question also. I was actually kind of surprised at that when we started using their platform because I didn't know it was there. But one way or another, we'll get your question answered. All first semester work must be submitted by December 11th, and then we're pretty much on break over Christmas for a couple weeks, come back in January and get started back. All second semester work must be submitted by April 16th. That's the drop dead deadline. You need to have all of your assignments done. Otherwise, we're cutting you off. Whatever assignments you didn't get done, we're going to X those out. And, not sure what that's going to do to your grade. It depends on how many you don't have done. So you need to make sure you're on top of it, stay diligent on it, and my goodness, don't wait till you're the last minute and then try to cram it. That's horrible. And what kind of an education are you getting out of that? Now, student success. We are interested in your success, and I mean that sincerely. Teams meetings will be held per the provided schedule that was placed in your book set. I'm also going to show it on the screen here in just a second. All students are expected to attend. There will be teaching time and some demonstrations, so we intend to make it as much interactive as we possibly can. And this will be the platform that we will use. Now, here is the Teams meeting schedule. First year, today, 18th. Actually, that's first year, so second year is the 19th, sorry. And then the next one will be September 16th, and then so on and so forth. They're in columns. So first year, second year, third year, fourth year. So they're in columns. It goes up and down. That's where all the meetings are, when all the meetings are going to be. And it also says the instructor reserves the right to cancel, postpone, or add additional meetings, just depending on what I feel the need is, as needed. This has been provided to give students expectations as to when live class sessions will be held, and all students are expected to attend these meetings. If you sign up for the program, I would only expect that you would participate. And yeah, sure, I've had people that got into some of these programs, even the face-to-face class sessions, sign up and pay several $1,000s for tuition and then not show up to class. Well, that's ridiculous. That's like going through the drive-thru at McDonald's and going to the first window and paying your money and then pulling away and not getting your food. Why would you do that? That's stupid is what it is, just to use the S word. So your books are your responsibility. Once they get in your hands, they are yours. None of these you have to return back. They are yours to keep. Once you're done with this level, you don't throw them out. You need to keep them because this is going to be escalating. For example, one of the books that we're using this year is Digital Multimeter Principles. That comes in your first year packet. We'll use that again in the second year. So, you need to hang on to that. There's also the Understanding Electrical Theory. This will be one of the main guidepost books of your school year this year. This is a great book, and a lot of accompanying videos that go along with it. The Mike Holt Group just actually updated it and redid it. And then there's Understanding Fundamental NEC Requirements. This is a very good book. One of the number one things that I would want you to do is we need to get familiar with the National Electrical Code. We've got to get some initial teaching in you, safety, and get electrical theory in you, but then we really want to get into a deep dive into the code. First year is very introductory, but inevitably you're going to have to get into that. Now, this is the code book you're going to get. As I said, this is not going to be in the book back when you get it, so don't freak out. Once they come in from the NFPA, then I'm going to turn them around and get them out of here as quickly as I can and get them to you. When you do get it, you should already get tabs that will come with your book pack. When you get your code book, put those tabs in. You need to do that right away. Read the directions. Don't just wing it. The directions are there for a reason. These code books, or the tabs that Mike Holt provides, are designed, for example, they start about an inch down from the top and an inch up from the bottom. There's a reason for that. You run them all the way down to the corners, you put this in a backpack or whatever, and you end up tearing off the tabs. There's also a table, a fold-out table that has several different formulas and things like that that are very useful also. So make sure that you do that as soon as you get it. And let's see, talked about this, talked about that. The branch circuit wiring book. There's a video on my site now, and I'm getting ready to update it. I've actually got a media company that's going to be working on that here soon. But we will dive into this soon enough and talk about branch circuit basics. If you're in first year, my assumption is that you have probably limited knowledge of how branch circuits actually work, 3-ways, 4-ways, GFIs, things like that. And we're going to spend some time talking about that, talking about exactly what a GFCI is and where it came from and the advancements. So for example, in the 2023 NEC, there's some new advancement in the type of GFIs that are even available called special purpose GFCIs. We'll do some teaching that will be basically doing line diagrams, teaching you how to wire multiple outlets, 3-ways, 4-ways, things like that. We'll talk about that. And I did want to mention that, we have a new code cycle that will be coming in next year, the 2026. I don't think that it'll be adopted by the states right away. And again, I don't know where everybody's coming from here. Some of you are in Kentucky, some of you are in Indiana, some of you are Texas. And each state will have their own thing as far as when they're going to adopt. So, we're going to try to stay on top of this as best we can, but I think the 2026 is supposed to be a very benchmark change cycle book. There's going to be some big changes in it, and we'll certainly try to bring that into the teaching as much as possible. Now, been talking for a while. What is any questions any of you might have? I'm open the floor to questions.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So it's self-paced. So let's say I finish the first semester. I have to wait till you open the next semester?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, so it's still like a schedule. Like we can't just finish too early.
You can't just blaze through it and do it in a shorter period of time. The federal law for apprenticeship requires that it be so many hours. So that being said, that's why we do that. If we just open it all up, here's what had happened. Not saying you do it, but here's what had happened. Some people would just blitz through there, not really dive into the material like they should, and maybe do it in a shorter period of time, and then turn around later and say, man, I didn't really learn that much from the program. Yeah, that was your fault because you didn't get into the material like you're supposed to. That's why I was saying earlier, the burden is on you to really do the deep dive. We're going to provide additional training as we go along, but this is supposed to be by federal law to take up a certain period of time. And obviously we're not going to, usurp the federal law. So yeah, we will do the first semester, and then we will not open up the second semester assignments until probably, like I said, New Year's Day.
And my other question is, well, it was about the email. I never got the email, so I just have to email you about that.
Yes, I had another individual from the class last night that had the same problem, and So if you'll email me that, I will involve or CC Holly Baker, who is our apprenticeship coordinator, in that. I think the other guy's problem was maybe he was um, actually enrolled in a face-to-face class session. He had checked the box face-to-face class session, so he was in that class. So they wouldn't have got it. I'm not saying that's what the problem you had, but it's probably a click of a mouse or something, and we'll get you in the right spot. There's 90 people in this class right now. So and I had almost 60 of them in the class in the meeting last night. So I just knew somebody's going to be out of whack. So if you'll just email me about that, then I'll get Holly involved in it. We'll get it resolved.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. What else we got?
I had a question.
Yeah, Don. Go right ahead, Don. Don Head.
Oh, that's me. Someone else chimed in. So I looked at the team's meeting schedule, and it looks like the dates. I'm not sure they're right. I don't know if you can go back to that screen or not, but I might be reading it wrong. But looks like some of the dates are wrong.
Okay, if you look at, I'm sorry, I was talking about second year. I got a second year meeting in an hour. Your first year. Wait till I get to the fourth year one on Thursday. Yeah, the very first column. I apologize. The first column is first year. On the 18th.
Okay, so they're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just
seeing now.
Thanks for noticing that. I was just totally screwed everybody up. Yeah, I can't wait to get to Thursday's meeting when I get to fourth year. So, yeah, you guys are first year. I've got second year here in about a half an hour. So the first column is you guys. So our next meeting will be September 15th. My apologies. So is that what you meant? Is that I was talking about the wrong column?
Yeah, it's all clear now. Thank you.
Good. Somebody else, I think, was it Frederick? Did you have a question, sir?
No.
Okay. All right. Who else has a question? Well, let me say this while we're at it. If you think your question, and I had several that did last night after we got out of the meeting, I checked my email and, and everybody, you know how that is. You think of the question you wanted to ask after it's over. Feel free to email me and hit me that question, and I'm going to do everything I can to answer that question. And again, here's a slide. I'll leave that up there while we're wrapping up that has my email on it so you can make that connection. Number one thing is make sure you're connecting on the capacitor. Now, I believe that Holly was getting everybody in the capacitor, so if for some reason you haven't received that yet, it might be because she hadn't got you in there yet. But I know she's been working on that. So, any other questions? All right, fantastic. Well, as I said, I'm your contact for the point of the course assignments and in general instruction, and I can be reached at the email there, Mike at abcindianakentucky.org, or message me through Capacitor. And I truly look forward to working with you to have a successful and gainful educational experience. I know this is a very different environment for those of you who've been in class sessions before. This is quite a bit different. But we want to make this as accommodating as possible. Let me hit a couple notes here I noticed on my paper here. And this is what's in your book set when you get it. Grades, let's see, as far as grades are concerned, you must make at least a 70% to pass the course. And that's overall, like for a semester and for the final. So you don't have to get a 70% on every single assignment. That just means you got a 70% overall at the end. And be watching for text and emails. When I send a message out, it goes out, and I can send it through our grading system. And when I send it out, it'll send you a text message and it'll send you an email, just so you know what you're getting. So be sure and be checking those. It's not impossible that we talk about something in one of our class meetings, and then I may send out a message later. Hey, here's a link. Check out this video. Check out this, or look at that. Maybe trying to provide other information to provide clarity. So that yet another thing that we may be doing. So, what else? All right. Well, I am going to call the meeting then. Appreciate you guys, and I will see you on September 15th. I'll send out a link probably the day before. I'll try not to send them out too far because if it gets in your email, then it goes all the way down and you miss it. So I'll probably send the links for that next meeting probably on the 14th. So be looking for that on that date and hang on to that schedule. Okay. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you in a few. Thank you.
Thank you.